an experiment does not erase its consequences. Hello and welcome to Brunch with Books, book talk show. This week we will discuss Jurassic Park and Sapiens. We are continuing these two books as last week of January. So stories remind us that real danger begins after control is lost. What happens in this episode, you will get to know after listening to us and identifying whether truth needs more responsibility and more wisdom to deal and take care of the environment and the kingdom we live in? Or is it impacting human? What is happening? Let's see in the conversation. Thank you. Stay with us. Over to you, Dr. Geeta.
We are in the final episode of the gripping techno-thriller Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton today. It supposes a world where cutting-edge genetic science brings dinosaurs back from extinction. Located on a remote island off the coast of Costa Rica, it turns into a high-tech theme park. And the novel explores what happens when human ambition, greed, and the unpredictable nature clash. It ultimately poses an insightful question. Just because we can, does it mean we should? It also asks a troubling question. What happens when a disaster is officially declared closed but not truly contained? In Jurassic Park, the greatest danger arrives after the chaos, when the world insists everything is over. The island is abandoned, bombed, declared neutralized, only on paper. But the experiment is not yet over because the threat is not restricted. The disaster is not closed. Uncertainty lingers. The survivors are not celebrated. They are questioned, confined, and quietly dismissed. Their testimonies are filtered through the official language of neutrality. Authorities are concerned only when with the denial of the truth. Official reports describe Jurassic Park as a rare failure, a mistake already corrected, but the world tells a different story. Ecological disturbances and strange animal sightings start to surface on the mainland. These details expose the truth that something has escaped from the island into the mainland. Ian Malcolm's warnings echo. Systems built without accountability always leak. Control, once lost, cannot be reclaimed simply by declaring it restored. The experiment may be over, but its consequences are not over. The danger is no longer confined to an island or a park or a failed dream. It has entered the world quietly, invisibly, and irreversibly. The novel ends not with closure but with unease, with the understanding that the most dangerous outcomes are not the dinosaurs, but the humans who do not hold accountability for their actions. So my question to you viewers is, when institutions choose concealment of truth over accountability, what becomes more dangerous? The escaped threat or the silence surrounding it?
Thank you, Dr. Geeta, for that insightful discussion around where are we drawing the line around what truth needs to come out and what not. I think my suggestion or my thought process here is that truth can be harmful sometimes, and if the person who is uh, understanding this truth and who needs to know the truth, he is understanding that very well, then that should be uh, taken in account accordingly, that what needs to be shared and what not needs to be shared. I have this example from the Indigo fiasco, which happened this year, last year, 2025, and even now it is going on. That there was a ultimatum given to Indigo by the aviation government, that they have to work on their pilot routines and schedules, and they have to increase their pilots, but they were not working on it. Maybe they understood it and they were silently ignoring it till the point that they were short of pilots. And the pilots also had the challenge of not able to meet the international flying routines. So ultimately, what happened is we saw humongous delays, and it actually created so much chaos that people were stranded for many hours, and airports became a mess. this happened only because the point I'm trying to make here is the government really made it clear that Indigo has to take an action, but then they couldn't take the action in time. The the point was not told to us, or maybe the normal people a year back, and something like this was going on. But then when it came in light in front of us because of the delays, it looked very messy. It looked like, there was a deliberate attempt of not following the rules and restrictions by Indigo, and that didn't look good to anybody. So I feel it is important that when we as uh, as a government or as a authority take actions and we are suppressing truth somewhere, we also make sure the action is taken if the truth is suppressed. But this is a classic example where the truth was suppressed, but the action was not really imposed in that profound way that Indigo could take the action, and they were ready before this fiasco happened. So I feel that is where I link this particular example with. And over to you, Shitapa, around to know
Absolutely,
about your
Siddharth.
reflection.
Yeah, absolutely, Siddharth. And I can understand through what Gitaji said, like how dominance and power comes up with responsibility. And you also highlighted the same fact that yes, there were information by government that this law needs to be implemented, but yes, aviation industry ignored and Indigo had to face the consequences. To add on my insight over here that uh, during the Hiroshima Nagasaki war, US was one of the powerful countries, and during that time atomic bomb was built, and it was still in a research. They were still researching how the impact will be, how they should use that as for in future. So those things were still not having clarity, but that bomb got used by US without even giving a thought on what will be the outcome of it. And they exploded Japan with the atomic bomb. So in this, the war was ended. The purpose they wanted to use the bomb was fulfilled, because they could invent something, they could use something to stop or win over the war. But the consequences and the impact remain generation on generation in Japan. And that is what uh, leads to this thought that the experiment failed miserably, because it was not checked with responsibility of what will be the impact uh, in the nature, in humans, in surroundings, and in this entire kingdom we live in the planet we live in. So everyone there got thoroughly impacted. They didn't know how to roll it back. The damage was done. With this shows the power comes with responsibility. If not used to responsibility, it has very bad consequences as well. So with this, I hand it over to Sujata ji for more insights.
Shritapa, the example you gave was so apt. That is just what Harari talks about, that uh, for thousands of years, we have believed, we humans, that we are special, that we are superior, that the world belongs to us. But what if that belief is not a truth? What if it's the most powerful story we've told ourselves? We just keep repeating it and believe it. In Sapiens, you will know Harari, he keeps asking a disturbing questions. Are humans inherently superior? Or are we simply better at telling stories in building tools? In part one, he reminds us that biologically, humans are just animals. We eat, we reproduce, we compete. Humans evolved like all other species. He explicitly compares humans to chimpanzees. Emotional bonds, social structures, violence, cooperation exist in both. Moral superiority is not biological. Harari gives very concrete example. Industrial farming, chickens, cows, pigs live in extreme confinement. Animals are reduced to production units. He argues humans justify this suffering using human-centered myths. Power allows humans to define morality in their favor. Dominance enables cruelty, not righteousness. What sets us apart is not morality or kindness, but imagination. And in part four, he takes this idea further. He explains that technology has made humans powerful, but not more ethical, as you have just said, Shritapa. Scientific breakthroughs serve whoever funds them. In Jurassic Park, this illusion finally breaks. Humans are no longer the apex controllers. They are no longer at the top of the food chain. The dinosaurs don't see humans as masters of nature. They see them also as animals and vulnerable ones. In that moment, human superiority collapses. The shared takeaway in both the two books is uncomfortable but honest. Dominance does not equal moral superiority. Power proves capability, it does not prove wisdom. So now, Jasbir, over to you for your take on this.
Thank you, Sujata. Yes, moral superiority is something that we should, as human beings, have. While I think the animals are more empathetic than us. And Jurassic Park was a clear example to prove that we human beings are just like them, like the dinosaurs, we are also animals. Because can you imagine the kind of exploitation of farm animals that is done? Like Harari was mentioning, mother pigs are known as breeding sows. They endure a life of extreme confinement. During pregnancy, they are kept in gestation crates, which are metal cages no bigger than their bodies. Once they give birth, they are moved to farrowing crates that separate the mother from her young. The same thing is done with cows. They are kept, the dairy cows are impregnated once a year to force them to continue providing milk, and their calves are taken away. Can you imagine if a human baby was taken away from his or her mother? How cruel can we get? I mean, we expect empathy, and what are we providing to these animals? And we consider ourselves superior. In what way are we superior? I think the lion would have been more empathetic than a human being. It's really sad that we have minds and brains to think, and what do we use them for? To harm a species that cannot speak, cannot say a word for themselves? Is this why we are considered to be at the top of the food chain? Is this what we are supposed to be doing? I think this is something we need to think about and reflect about. And I think a lot of human beings are turning vegan for these very reasons. So yeah, this is my take, that moral superiority is something that we should think about and consider our decisions as human beings, if we want to be truly superior in this animal kingdom, and start behaving like human beings more than animals. So thank you, and over to you, Dr. Geeta, for your views. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaspreet. I agree with you totally. We have brains to make decisions and minds to feel empathy. But are we really morally superior when we are not utilizing it? Yes, and that is exactly what Michael Crichton also tells us. In Jurassic Park, Michael Crichton makes a deliberate choice. He refuses to give us the ending we expect. There is no triumphant rescue, no moral reckoning, no moment where humanity pauses, reflects, and vows to do better. The ending is disturbing. The characters escape, they survive, but they do not win. Just they keep on suffering. They carry the knowledge they never asked for and the consequences they cannot undo. The world moves on as if nothing has happened. But the humans who have gone through it, they just keep remembering it, reliving it. There is no apology, only bureaucracy. Institutions close files. Reports are edited, language is neutral. What failed becomes corrected. Responsibility dissolves, accountability disappears behind official silence. Silence continues forward without accountability. This is Crichton's sharpest accusation. Not that humans don't make mistakes, but they refuse to learn from them. The machinery of progress does not stop to ask whether it should, it only asks whether it can continue. The novel ends on a chilling suggestion. What humans create in arrogance cannot always be recalled or erased. Jurassic Park may be destroyed, but the mindset that created it survives intact even today. And that is Crichton's final message. This story is not about dinosaurs, it is about repetition, about how humans convince themselves that this time it is different, that the safeguards are enough, that intelligence equals wisdom, that power equals control, and how again and again reality proves otherwise. The real danger was never the creatures brought back from the extinction. It was the belief that the humans could walk away unchanged. So, my question to you all viewers is, if humanity keeps repeating the same patterns of behavior with greater power and newer tools, is progress actually moving us forward or simply magnifying our old mistakes?
Thank you, Dr. Geeta, again for that amazing insight you have from Jurassic World book. And I feel I can completely relate to this part because some time back I was in Singapore and we were having a tour around the Jurassic World there. They have a animal kingdom set up there. And there is a part where they actually take us to a real dinosaur experience. And they actually have the Tyrannosaurus coming out of the cave. And it is so real that when kids were actually standing and they suddenly faced the Tyrannosaurus, they were scared to the hell, you know. It was so real. And even I was scared, you know, when we it was coming so near and it just came. It just came out and it was like roaring and it came next to you, next to us, and it was so scary that it is going to just gobble of us, you know. So I felt as an entertainment theme, this is so great, you know. There is so much realism in it. But for a child, if he doesn't know the difference between what is real and versus what is not, maybe it actually is dangerous because let's say if it was not a robot inside with a dinosaur mask, rather it was a tiger who was there, and the kid is not getting scared, thinking it's a robot. What will happen? So it has its, I feel, pros and cons definitely that where we are going with this real versus fake thing. Um, when we have clear indications, and this is just not for the entertainment theme, but also outside where we actually um, rely on AI, we are talking about AI, or relying on some information which is not real, we end up getting into scams just like that because every information we are getting has to be validated and um we need to know what is the source of truth for each of that information. Unless that is known, we cannot rely on it, and that is making it so difficult nowadays that while we might be as adults are understanding things much maybe at a deeper level, but I even see adults actually missing that information a lot of time. But kids definitely have to be more observative. Their observation power have to be more powerful now rather than the time when we were growing, because now it makes so much difference that if they are caught into something fake, then they can actually ruin their lives with that. And I feel that is a big challenge for each one of us who is seeing the next future growing, and we have to be more responsible. Every kid growing up needs to be more responsible and understand what is the difference between the real and the fake and how to even decipher that. So I feel that is a very important insight there. Over to you, Shitapa, for your relevant insight. Thank you so much.
And I would like to add mine that we are always manipulating the truth. It has been done in past. It is done even now, we have heard rumors, propaganda, and selective story in the social media platforms and in data as well. And when today we just make the lie appear more realistic, and it spreads more faster. You will see news which is coming, or the information flowing through WhatsApp. Everything, it appears as if it is real, but it can be fake. So every truth becomes questionable. Reframing of information, which is circulated through technology and human using their knowledge without their wisdom. So over to you, Sujata, for more insight.
Thank you, Shritapa. As you, as Dr. Geeta and you, everyone has pointed out, every experiment ends. That's what Harari says. But the question is not whether we learn lessons, but whether we learn them in time. So, in the final chapters of The Sapiens, Harari does something unusual. He stops talking of the past and he starts talking about the end. He asks whether humans are approaching the end of Homo sapiens, not through extinction, but through transformation, through genetic engineering, through artificial intelligence, through the redesign of the human mind and body. He asks, who decides what traits are desirable? People are talking of genetics in this field. So, what happens when inequality becomes biological? Evolution shifts from natural selection to intelligent design. He gives the example of brain computer interfaces. Technology integrated directly into the human body. He describes this as humans becoming cyborgs, a new category of being. The human body is no longer fixed, and it may outperform humans without feelings or ethics. For example, algorithms, they make decisions so often. AI outperforms humans in pattern recognition so quickly that we use them. This leads to another frightening thought. Humans historically sought happiness through religion, wealth, status, but future humans may seek happiness through biochemical engineering. Emotional states become editable. He does not predict apocalypse. He asks what happens when humans redesign themselves. Do enhanced humans remain Homo sapiens? He is not afraid of technology. He is afraid of irresponsible power without wisdom. He warns evolution may no longer be natural, it may be controlled by elites, markets, or governments. In Jurassic Park, also, as Dr. Geeta told us, the experiment ends. And why? It ends only after the damage is done. The lesson is learned, but too late. This is exactly Harari's warning that the most dangerous technologies do not announce themselves as threats. So the shared takeaway is very important. The future is not a destination, it is a responsibility. What we build today shapes who or what we become tomorrow. So here is the final question for you, Jasbir. What kind of future are we choosing to create? Would you like to give some example, some relatable incident regarding this? Over to you, Jasbir.
Yes, Sujata, you're right. The responsibility of this technology, who will take responsibility, who will take charge? We have allowed ChatGPT to overtake our lives to the extent that that human touch, that human connection has been lost. So, for example, there are so many teenagers and so many young adults who need therapy, who need counseling. And because of inhibitions, they don't want to connect with a real human being. They feel ChatGPT will solve their problems. It is the easy way out because it's available constantly at any hour of the night, at any time of the day. And they think it's easier because they are not being judged. But what they fail to understand is all these chats are being recorded. Someone is watching them. And this in the future can be used against them, or it can be used to to brainwash them. I mean, there are so many of these video games that have actually caused deaths in children because they have been made to believe that if they reach the particular final level, they have to do something drastic, maybe jump off a building. So imagine, can you just imagine the kind of impact that it has on young minds? It is definitely our technological advancement, something we had not imagined 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But to what extent can technology replace a human being? Can Chat GPT have the same level of empathy and understanding as your counselor? They can give you ready-made solutions which have been fed by another human being, but it's not right. It's not ethical because you're trying to make someone believe that this is what it is, and the person, once believing, will change their attitude towards life. It is an inaccurate, harmful advice that is being provided to youngsters especially. So what are we producing? It is something to think about. Are we producing technology that will support, or technology that will finally erase our thinking power? And now I hand it over to Shritapa to conclude for our session today.
Rightly said, Jaspreet. So yes, we are in a world where we are using technology, advanced technologies, to enhance and for a better future. And but in the way, what we are getting inputs from the system is can be just a human fed information, may be relevant to you, may not be relevant to you, without any empathy, without any human emotion or touch or understanding in it. So what we want to take and what we want to use in future, it all depends on how we be more responsible towards the uh, animals and the planet we live in, and how we take care of each other, and it is like not an experiment which is failing miserably and impacting all our lives. So with this, I conclude today's session and hope you liked these discussions, and we'll be there again next Thursday 5 p.m. with you all. Take care. Bye bye. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel Brunch with Books.